Hey guys, welcome back to Coding Adda. Aditya this side, and in this video, we are going to understand what are the different kinds of runners that are used in GitHub Actions. Basically, there are two different kinds of runners that we use. One is a self-hosted runner, and one is a GitHub-hosted runner. GitHub provides basically three types of runners over here based on the operating system that you have. One is a Linux, one is a Mac, and one is a Windows-based runner. So, without any delay, let's get into the computer screen and let's understand each of them one by one. So now, what is a runner? A runner is a computer machine that runs your workflow steps. When you write runs on Ubuntu latest, you are telling GitHub like, okay, use one of your Linux machine to run this job. Now there are basically two types of runners, as I said earlier. One is the GitHub hosted. If you're a beginner, obviously this is recommended for beginners. What does it give it here? GitHub manages everything. You have nothing to do over here. Always a fresh and clean machine on every run. It is free for public repositories, like it gives 2000 minutes a month for private repositories. And it comes with Node, Python, Docker, and Git pre-installed. The disadvantage here is you can't access your private network or database. Let's say if you're running anything on your private database, on your server, you can't access that. There is a limited compute available, which is like 2 CPU cores and 7 GB of RAM on a free plan. If you go towards a paid plan, that resource would be increased. And then when we talk about self-hosted runners, obviously we'll be deep diving about self-hosted runners in the next video. But just to give you an example, it runs on your own machine. You are a startup and you have your own server, or you have a cloud server that you have set up. You can use that server to host your GitHub runners. You can access your private databases and internal tools if you have created. There is no minute limits. You can use as much as you want, because at the end that runs or that GitHub actions are performed on your server. So GitHub is like a middleman, or GitHub Actions plays like a middleman here. Like, okay, this is your input that you give, and this is the response or the machine on which it gets triggered. But the medium with which it gets triggered is present on GitHub. It can have a custom hardware, example GPU for AI/ML. But there are two disadvantages. You have to manually set up and update the machine. If there is any issue in the machine, you are the one which have to solve it and debug it. And then more setup work is required, because you have to set up each and everything. Okay. The action here is to learn GitHub action runners. Obviously, this is also to trigger manually from the GitHub UI. The different kind of jobs that we are doing here we are taking different machine OS, and we are just trying to display the output here. So the job one is to see on Ubuntu Linux runner. It is the most common and use this 90% of the time. 99, I would say this is the most common, and people use this 90% of the time. The first thing is the Ubuntu runner. Okay, this is the job name, and this is the name that we are giving, and it will run on Ubuntu latest. Tells GitHub, give me a Linux machine. The steps here, what OS am I running on? We are just running a shell script. lsb-release -d gives us the operating system name. What hardware do I have? It will just print the CPU cores, the RAM, and the disk size. Okay. Next, what are the tools that I have pre-installed? Language, Node, Python, and Go version that we are printing, and the tools here. Next is to give the key fact about Git hosted runners. We are just printing like, okay, this machine is always fresh. Nothing from a previous run is saved here. Every run starts from a clean slate. Okay. This is the one that we use for Ubuntu based machine. Next, we will try to do with the same Windows runner. The name is GitHub hosted Windows. It will run on Windows latest runner. And the step it would be to just show the Windows input. Here what we'll be doing is the shell will be override. You can override the default shell settings in the runner's operating system using the shell keyword. You can build in shell keywords, or you can define custom shell options. We will be using PowerShell because Windows uses PowerShell. We can also use command line, Python, or sh or bash script as well. We use PowerShell, and we use these 4 commands to display the operating system, CPU, and the node version. Now the next runner that we have is for Mac. The name is Github-Hosted macOS, and it will run on macOS latest runner. And to show the macOS info, we'll just say swvers -product version to display the operating system. the CPU, and the node version. And the last thing that we'll be doing is we will be trying to run the same job across multiple machines at once. This is called a matrix example, or we can say a matrix strategy. It is useful when you want to test on multiple OS versions. Let's say if you are a company or if you are a startup who is into testing one particular product or one particular build or an image on different kinds of machines. That's where you can use this matrix example to run that test case or run that image or run that particular regression on different OS versions. So what we do is testing on matrix.os. The OS comes from the matrix below. The matrix here is Ubuntu latest, Windows latest, and macOS latest. GitHub will spin 3 separate jobs, one per OS, all in parallel. It won't do like, okay, once it is done for Linux, then it will do for Windows and then Mac. No, everyone would be triggered parallelly. And the steps here is to just print the OS name. Okay, so this is like an example of using Github-Hosted runners. Let us just check in the code and check. Okay, clear git status, git add, git commit -m. We'll say git hosted runners, git push origin master. Okay, just go here. We have the runners here as well. We'll go into GitHub Actions, and as you can see, there is a different third kind of runner that is present over here. Okay, GitHub Actions runners. We'll run the workflow. Yes, the branch is the master branch, and then run the workflow. Here, if you see, there are two major different steps that are happening. First is the GitHub hosted runners, which is running here. Okay. And here, these runners happen to be triggered one after the other. So if I click here, you can see there are 3 different runners here. GitHub hosted Windows. Now it is triggering for Windows runner. To show the Windows info, okay, write the OS host as this. OS is Microsoft Windows NT 10.0.26100. The CPU is 4 cores and the version is 22.0.0. Okay, this is what happened for Windows runner. Then let's go into Linux runner and then Mac OS. What is the OS that I am running on? It is Ubuntu 24.04.3, which is the LTS latest stable version. What hardware do I have? CPU is 4 cores, RAM is 15 GB, and free disk is 91 GB. That's good. What are the tools that I have pre-installed? Okay, version 20.2.0, which is the Node version. Python version is 3.12.3. Go version is this. And what are the tools? Git with 2.53.0, Docker with this, and these are the different curl commands, curl tools that are present. OpenSSL, ZSTD, everything else. And key facts about GitHub hosted runners: this machine is always fresh, nothing from previous run is saved here, and every runs start from a clean slate. This is for Linux based, and then this is for the Mac OS based runner. So if we go here, we can see macOS info as, okay, the OS version is 15.7.4, 3 cores, and the version is 22.2.0. Okay, these are the 3 different runs that happened. And what about the run that was the matrix example? We'll click on show all jobs to see, okay, these are the testing that is happening on 3 different OSs at once in parallel. So what it does is it set up the job name, print the OS name running on Ubuntu latest, and then complete the job. Okay, so we can also see this is for Windows and this is for Mac. It will say, okay, this is the OS which is for Windows, and then this is for Mac that ran. So in this video, we understood about what are GitHub self-hosted runners and how you can have multiple OSs test running parallel using the matrix example. In the next video, we'll be understanding how we can create up a self-hosted runner using Docker, and how we can create a very simple GitHub actions to trigger steps or trigger jobs or events on that self-hosted runner. So if you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.